Good morning, children. Welcome back to the social session where we were learning about the rulers and buildings. We have seen the new method of technological inventions in the construction of the roofs and the columns after the 12th century. We have seen the usage of limestone and even the mixture of quality stone chips with this limestone and eggs has created a qualitative concrete. And after 1190 AD, this usage has increased. Temples and many of the mosques were constructed in this way only. And we also have discussed about the Rajarajeshwara temple. We have discussed about the Swayambhu Shiva temple of Kakatiyas, which has been constructed in the capital city of Kakatiyas in Orugallu. In Fort Warangal, even today also we can see that one. And most of these temples had become an elaborative institutions which have employed different kinds of people. Dancers were there, musicians were there, priests were there, artisans were there, administrators were there, servants were there, sweepers were there. It has employed a large number of people and it has become a very large complex. If you see some of the old temples, if you look at the Kalahasti temple, it has a very massive complex of what we call zones within the temple complex. So they collected taxes from the villages and lent money on interest to the traders, organized fairs and even markets to which buyers and sellers of goods came. Several matas of Shaivites and Vaishnavite sects were established. Even today also we have many matas. Okay, so these mata is nothing but a kind of sect. So these matas were established by the foremost gurujis or by the saints. These temples thus became the centers of political and economic power in Uttar Pradesh, and even in Karnataka also you find many matas. The headquarters of the matas, which has got diversified, which has branches all over the country. And even in Telangana and Andhra Pradesh also we have matas. Sri Sharadananda Swami Mata we have in Visakhapatnam, Sharada Peetam. So such kind of peetas and matas and their heads have become the center of political and economic power. If you look at the ceremonies which have been organized, have an elaborate methods. They had gifting them by the people and adding to the constructions of these matas. If you look at Muslim sultans and badshahs, they did not claim to be incarnations of God, but Persian court chronicles described them as a sultan. A badshah नहीं तो ये sultans, ये जो Muslim kings थे, उन लोगों को they did not like Rajarajeshwara. He imagined that he himself was like a form of a god, isn't it? His name and God's name were almost same. So, but whereas here they did not believe that they are the incarnation of God, but the Persian court chronicles described them as sultan. Sultan is nothing but the shadow of the God. Sultan is nothing but they were considered as a shadow of God. An inscription in the Delhi mosque explained that God chose Alauddin as a king because he had the qualities of Moses and Solomon, the great law givers of the past. So the entire human race got started with Moses and Solomon, and one of the inscription on the mosque read that Alauddin has been chosen by the God because he is a great administrator, and the greatest lawgiver and architect was God himself. So it is not the king, but the God himself is the greatest architect of the entire human life, and this entire day-to-day living he will be controlled by him. So he created the world out of chaos and introduced order and symmetry. So everything in the life goes in a order because he desires to be gone in this way. So as each new dynasty came to power in Delhi, kings wanted to emphasize their moral right to be the rulers. Why they are the rulers? They have to get the support from the people. So they morally they wanted to emphasize on the right why they have become the ruler. So constructing places of worship provided rulers with the chance to proclaim their close relationship with the God. Especially important is in an age of rapid political change. Rulers also offered patronage to the learned and pious people. Who are the pious? the people who live a very simple life, even the great intellectuals who live in simple life, are called as pious, down to the earth. So such kind of learned people and pious people were given patronage. Patronage means were given shelter by these kings, were looked after by these kings. They tried to transform their capitals as a great cities into great cultural centers that brought fame to their rule as well as period. So if you look at Sri Krishna Devaraya, the Vijayanagara kingdom, so he brought a lot of fame to his own capital. And even if you look at Kakatiya's Orugalu, that is Warangal, was given the name, has received its fame because of its rule by Ganapati Deva and Rani Rudramadevi. So it was popularly believed that the rule of a just king would be an age of plenty when the heavens would not withhold rain. At the same time, making precious water available for the construction of tanks and reservoirs was highly praised. So we shall see about the construction of these reservoirs by these kings in the next class, children. That is also a part of the rulers and buildings. Thank